Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline. We're talking all sorts this week. Bit of almost like a rewind week. Talking about stuff we talked about in the past, but with a new spin. Shopping addiction, is it a thing? Is it hard for me? Find out here. Going hard in the gym, going hard in the paint. The heat. Eating to lose weight. Body fat percentage. Is it a good thing or is it not? Find out. TV, movie, computer games to a degree. Some interesting bits and bobs around the computer game stuff at the moment. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Obviously the biggest one, our absolute favourite, is if you like this podcast in any way, if you're a fan of the podcast in any way, or if you just want to support us in any way, sharing the podcast around is a big help. It means a lot to us. Word of mouth is the absolute best for podcasting. So, yeah, any of those things, big help. So thanks. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline. Hello. How are we doing? Are we well? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Always, as always, if you're not, drop me a line. Say hello. Ask me how I'm doing. Nobody ever asks me how I'm doing. That's not strictly true. One of my children, who shall remain nameless, is very good at asking me how I'm doing. I don't know why they should remain nameless. It's my middle daughter. Always loves to. I don't know. I say loves. Always asks me how I'm doing. Asks me what I've been up to, etc. It's a great time. Bit. Maybe what you would call a slow week. So strap yourselves in for 90 minutes of me rambling. Shortest version is a little bit of... Not going to lie, this week's list feels a little samey in places because the TV stuff I've got to talk about, some of it's super old and some of it's just a return to form. The movie of the week is 50 years old. Computer games we'll get into in earnest. Outside of that, I'm pretty sure everything on my list for the week is something I've brought up previously, talked about previously, had conversations at length about on the podcast, off the podcast. It's all very much I don't know what you'd call it, a week of reflecting maybe, don't know. But not talking about it ain't getting the baby bath. So let's get into it. Last Wednesday, I swore, absolutely swore. Did a swearsy? No. I swore I was just going to, I was going to abandon all normal Wednesday routines and just take my son to a park. I was like, I'm tired of going places, I'm tired of spending money, I'm tired of just being in this ever loop, whatever, this infinite loop of just go place, spend money, do thing. It's like, I can't imagine it's fun for him. I don't know what sort of fun it is for me at this point in time. I'm starting to think it's a problem, it's an issue. like I say, this is not the first time I've brought this up. This is not the first time I've mentioned this. This is not the first conversation we're having. However, there was a small problem. And it was a small problem that I turned into a bigger problem, not through any kind of sort of addiction issues. The problem was I knew it was happening. The problem was that I knew it was going on and I didn't do anything to stop it. So I was like, we're just going to go to the park. We're gonna get out nice and early. We're going to go to the park, or we're going to go to the toddler plaything, or we'll go to the air museum, or we'll go somewhere where we don't have to spend any money and he can play on the park. That was it. That was the plan. Like I said, a couple of problems. These problems go like this. I need finger tape. I'll let that settle for a minute. Now, somebody right now is like, fuck's finger tape? Somebody is like, what, like micropore, or somebody's like, oh, it's like a plaster. And then somebody, we're on to the fourth group of people at this point. Somebody's like, you're a climbing person. You climb. And I've seen climbing people put tape on their fingers. Maybe it's that. One of you is correct. And it is, in fact, for climbing purposes. I don't always use it because most days my hands are okay. However, on a Thursday morning, having had a day of climbing on the Wednesday, not a day, but a morning of climbing, and what I refer to as a monster workout on a Wednesday, my hands just hurt. And myself and Edward discovered that if you wrap a little bit of tape around your calluses, it's just a tiny bit of cushioning between you and the hold, and it means that you can still climb at the same intensity. I had some tape. It was fantastic. I got it from Go Outdoors a while ago. I think it was around about the time that there was maybe some shoe purchases. And I bought this tin and it had some tape in it, and it was great. And as time went on, I went through it and that was that. And then I bought some more tape, and it was like, here's 3 rolls of tape. Because having made the trip to Go Outdoors, they didn't have any. Cool. I best order some on the Tinterwebs. And the finger tape turned up, 3 rolls of the stuff, and it was the wrong size. So it was too thin. And every time I use it on my fingers, I hate it. It's too thin, so you have to use twice as much, so you're going through twice as much of it. It doesn't stick the way you want it to. And it takes twice as long to apply. So 10 minutes into being at climbing, you haven't climbed anything because you're still sticking tape on your fingers. It's just no good. For Father's Day, I got some finger tape. Fantastic, wonderful stuff. Job done. It's heavy metal because it's black. Rock and roll finger tape. Yes, that's right. It was also the wrong size, and obviously it was a gift. And I was like, that's great. More tape. Part of the issue I've got is I'm just going through too much of the stuff. I've gone through 3 rolls of tape in a very short space of time, because like I say, when you're wrapping 8 bits of tape around one hand and 8 bits of tape around the other hand, you're going to go through it. I was like, damn it. It's great. I got some more. I got 2 rolls. Black finger tape. It'll look cool. But it is the wrong size. So this time, I checked Go Outdoors website and they had some. And I was like, there's a really decent park round the corner from Go Outdoors. So I don't think there's anything really wrong with spending £4 something on a roll of tape, go outdoors, and then we can walk round the corner, go park, and then we can go home. Simples. I go and walk the dog before any of this. And through a variety of different weight loss related things, however you want to look at it, however you want to slice it. I chew a lot of gum these days. A lot of gum. A lot. The thing about chewing a lot of gum is you need a lot of gum. I go through... It's like 6 packets of gum. It's probably a week at this point. It's not, but it is, because I put them in different places. I've got like some in both cars. I've got some for my desk at work. I've got some for when I leave the house to walk the dog. Some days it's twice a day, and I have 2 pieces at a time. Do the math, etc. Okay, there. Then there's the additionals, obviously, like if I ever go in the car, gum, and so on. I go through a lot of gum. I went to walk the dog and I was like, damn it, I need gum. Instantly knew that this was putting me in the danger zone, because I was already going to a shop to pay money for something. Now I need to go to a different shop, an additional shop, some would say, and I need to spend more pennies. And this shop is at a different place. I was like, this is already bad. Now here's the thing. I could have stopped it there. I could have said, look, let's not. Let's go to a park. Let's just go to the park. The original plan was to go to the park. I don't need any of these things. What I do need is to not go and just spend money. It was all there. It was all there in front of me. I knew. With the best intentions, off we go outdoors. It's all about the park, and we're going to go to the park. It's fine. Go outdoors, we find the finger tape, and I'm like, you know what? I've had trouble finding it in the past. I should probably get 2. So I picked up 2 rolls. At which point, my son says, I need the toilet. Now we're in this whole toilet training phase where there's a lot of, I need the toilet, and not a lot of actually needing the toilet. It's, as I'm sure we can understand at this point, it's a mixture of fear. It's a mixture of, I'm out. I don't know when I'm going to get the opportunity to go. It's a lot of this. I work on the principle that he has a time limit of about 1.5 hours on an empty bladder. And we were 20 minutes into that. I was like, I don't think you need the toilet, but I don't want to be in that position. So I was like, right, mate, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the front. We're going to buy this. And while we're there, we're going to ask them about a toilet, because I see a sign here and it says they have a toilet. So the toilet was downstairs. So I did the standard, fantastic, lovely, thank you. Oh, do you guys have a toilet? And the lady said, yes, it's upstairs. So why does your sign say it's downstairs? By the way, you've got a cafe down here. And if you've got a cafe down here, you have to have a toilet. Fine, I'll go upstairs. So off we trundle up the stairs. We go up the escalator. It's a great time, lovely time going up the escalator. Then I'm like, so where the hell's the toilet? Where do we need to be? Oh, look, you've got like a restaurant as well. Gonna guess toilet's probably in that direction, and it was. And we go and we get in there and we sit him down, and nothing. Who could have possibly seen that coming? So I was like, are you sure? You're all right? You okay? No, nothing. I was like, right, okay, well, we tried. So we start walking We come out the toilet, start walking away, we get so far. We go down the stairs, and as we're going down the stairs, he's like, I'm like, mate, you alright? I was like, do you need the toilet? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. Down the stairs we go, round. Did we go back up the stairs? Doesn't matter. Went back to the toilet, into the toilet, sit him down. Pretty much straight away, there's nothing. It's not happening. I'm like, okay, cool. Out of the toilet, down the stairs, get down the stairs, walking through the bit. I was like, hey, this is where we started our journey, the climbing section. And he says, I need the toilet. I'm like, mate, well, that's fine. I can see that you're struggling with the concept. I can see the cogs turning. I know exactly what's going on. When you sit down, it's not coming out, but you don't want to walk away from the toilet. I was like, let's really commit to doing the toilet, shall we? We go back up, we go back in, sits down, toilet, boom, swish, nothing but net. Well done, buddy, you've done fantastic there. Let's go. Well, obviously, we have done 3 laps of 2 flights of stairs and a giant escalator, and we've been in the shop, I don't know, 35 minutes at this point in time, and now I'm looking at my watch going, we need to walk round to the park, because in a world where, yes, in a pinch you could probably drive, we can't get close to it. It's very much a walking distance kind of thing. But the walking distance is long. We are parked at the other end away from the park. I was like, even if I drive, I'm not going to get as close. I was like, all right, mate. I've got an idea. Let's go over to the other side of Monk's Cross, and what we'll do is we'll park up near the play stuff so you can have a play, and I'll just run into a shop and grab some gum, because needed gum. I think that's viable. You get to have a play on the play stuff, then we'll go on. Simple, easy, elegant. He agreed. And that was that. Turned out in his head we were off to the air museum to go on the park there. I was like, mate, it's a long way away from here. And obviously, from a karma perspective, that is absolutely what we should have done. We go, we drive, we park up, we get out, and we walk. I was like, all right, let's go get some gum. We go across. We go to B&M. In we go to B&M, and this was where it all collapsed. It was already, the first domino was teetering with the whole tape situation. But it seemed okay right up to the point where I walked into B&M and I picked up a basket, because you never know. I bought some gum. Cost me 32 quid. I know what you're thinking. Bloody hell, mate. I know you said you like your gum, but fuck me. 32 quid's worth of gum? Well, obviously not 32 quid's worth of gum, was it? I got 2 things of gum, because that's what I went for. Next thing I turn around, my son's like putting a bone for the dog in the already laden basket. I've got 9 different drinks in there. 3 different packets of sweets going, oh, new sweets. Oh, maybe you'll like these. What about these? Do you think you'll like these? What about your sister? Do you think she'll like these? dog treats, cat treats, children treats, little toy things. £32. £32 for gum. We walk out, and this was the point where I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, this was the exact thing I was trying to avoid. What the fuck is wrong with me? I had so many opportunities to avoid this situation. Did I? No. I went head first into it. I knew what was going to happen. By this point, I'm like, well, sod it. Why don't we just let's go and get a drink, shall we? Let's go get a drink. Admittedly, he got multiple goes on the play stuff. So from that side of things, he was partially happy, apart from the point in time where he's like, right, let's go to the other park. I'm like, what other park? He's like, where the planes are. I'm like, mate, that's a million miles away from where we are right now, and you've got to go to bed. Do you know what happened there? What happened there was he was telling me what we should have done with our time. I came home laden with bags and all sorts of things that I probably didn't need. The dog got several treats out of the trip. The children got several treats out of the trip. And I came home just miserable. Like, I said to Leanne, I was like, there is something wrong with me. Because it was all avoidable. Yeah, I ran straight into it. And, as some of you may know, this is absolutely not the first time this subject's come up. Here's a subject that I don't often talk about, but week in, week out, I put it on the tags and on the blurb for the podcast, and I sometimes feel a little bit fraudulent, whilst at the same time I'm like, I mean, the intention's there. Recently I've changed my workout in the gym. So a few things I've changed. Some of the intensity, some of the reps, some of the range of motion stuff, I think it would be referred to. I have added some old exercises in. One point in time I googled what is the absolute best workout for growing muscle for chest, and it was like, these are the 7 absolute best exercises you can do to grow chest muscle. And I was like, fantastic. And I read all 7 and I went, that is my workout. Guess I don't need to change that then. So I was like, cool, okay. So I was like, right, let's move on to the next body part. What is the absolute best that you can do for legs? And it said, here are the 7 best leg workouts you can do in the gym for muscle growth. And I went, that is my leg workout. I said, okay, here we go. What is the best possible workout you can do for arms? And it said, here's the 7 best exercises. And I said, that is my arm workout. I'm guessing my personal trainer back in the day said, what's the best workout you can do for chest? And they wrote down what was there and gave it to me. So I went, okay, so my workout ticks the box. I'm guessing if I Google, back and biceps and triceps and all of those things, I'm going to get the exercises I'm already doing. So let's work on the principle I'm doing the absolute best exercises I can for muscle growth. So how do I get better results. I've been watching a lot of videos recently that talks about, like, if you turn up and you do this and you do that and you do the other, that's potentially why you're not getting the gains. So I was like, well, we want the gains, so maybe it's time to look at things like form, like say range of motion, really sort of like dropping the bar down onto the chest and then really pushing it up as far as it'll go, kind of stuff, all of this. A few things I've noticed making these changes. One, a lot of my workouts were in the region of half an hour. Half an hour to 40 minutes. Because I don't have a huge amount of time to spend in the gym. I could list the many reasons for that, but let's just say I think by now you can probably guess a lot of my reasons why I can't spend a lot of time in the gym. Especially on days where I'm doing double cardio, which honestly, the amount of stuff I've seen recently that highlights that cardio is just pointless. I'm starting to wonder why anybody does it, especially me. So okay, there's the fact that my workouts are now bumping up against like 55 minutes, an hour. We've done over an hour workout in the gym in the last week. That, I believe, has always been one of those things that it's a lot to do with recovery. Now then, previously, I didn't believe in recovery. Previously, I was literally like, bang out the sets, get it done, move on. Rest time, what rest time? Now, when slowing down the motion, make sure to get it right, get all the stretches, all the gains, all of that, the time that takes is a lot longer, and the rest time is actually needed. So for every set of reps, there is rest in between, and it's been hard. It's been hard going in the gym. It's been hard level of recovery. Obviously, I've been trying to increase the amount of protein I'm putting into my body. Now, I'm trying to increase the amount of protein I put into my body for the fact that my body hurts from exercising and working out. It's been interesting, the things that have been hurting, and you go, okay, cool. Then I added in some exercises that I haven't done in a long time, which have been on my list of, I really should add those exercises back into my workout routine, but oh my God, they are the absolute worst. So on leg day, I went back to doing deadlifts, which I haven't done in, it's probably a couple of years. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that one. It's probably a couple of years at this point in time. I severely hurt myself doing deadlifts, not actual deadlifts, but off the back of doing deadlifts, I hurt myself. Get it off the back. It was my back I hurt. In case you didn't get the joke there, and I kind of did that kind of, you hurt me, I don't want to do you anymore. Even though I do own weight belt, stuff like that, I just abandoned them. And then I saw something recently that was talking about, deadlifts are king. Again, I think we can all appreciate that deadlifts are way up there on the really good for you scale. Added them back into my leg workout. Thought I'd go nice and easy, nice and steady. Just 3 sets of 10. Just 3 sets of 10. And I couldn't sit down for the rest of the week. Not first time anyway. It took me 2 attempts to be able to sit down any time I tried to sit down. Honestly thought I was going to break the toilet at one point in time because I went to sit down when, oh no, something's gone wrong. I'm kind of locking out, but at the same time not. So I kind of threw myself off my feet in a kind of, I've got to ditch this not quite falling motion, but still somewhat like a fall. And then was like, hang on a minute, if I land on the toilet in a funny way, might break the toilet. It didn't, thankfully. So yeah, it's been interesting. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. I feel my entire life is just one giant experiment at the moment. Some of that is because I'm not entirely sure I know what I'm doing in really anything. Like, it was easy, like fasting and stuff. It was like, hey, how about you don't eat something, drink sugary drinks and go about your life. It's like, yep, I can do all of that. Now it's like, oh, you have to eat this many grams of protein whilst making sure you're not eating too many calories, whilst making sure you're not eating too much of this, that, and the other, whilst also working out a lot harder, and make sure you're getting your supplement regime. Honestly, it's exhausting just thinking about it, let alone anything else. We had a lovely bout of heat last week, a delicious 33-degree day, which was a joy. 29 degrees the day before that. Bearing in mind, at time of recording, we are in the last, or kind of second to last week of June. The entire time that we're sitting there just sweating, I'm like, yeah, it's June. What's it going to be like in July or August, for that matter? Thinking only going to get worse. I've seen a couple of things on the old interwebs where people from other countries have started sort of being in England whilst it's been sort of hot as balls, and highlighting that, you know, when other countries are taking the piss out of us British, when it's, you know, it goes over 20 degrees and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? I think like people from other countries have been experiencing it and being like, yeah, they're not kidding. It's a whole other kind of heat. It's a different thing. So yeah, it's quite unbearable. We had 2 days of rain, and it's one of the first times I've ever really thought, wow, you can feel the difference. And it's dropped like at least 10 degrees, so it's a little bit more bearable. It has been affecting sleep, I think, is the main one. I'll come back to that in a minute. Today marks the first day of the what I'm dubbing the attempt to get to phase 3. Anyone remember all those weeks ago when I had this like super tight plan of how I was going to get thin? Yeah, hasn't quite manifested itself through a series of eating and putting weight on because of like the density of the food and what it does to your body after a fast, and then going, oh no, I've put weight on, I best fast. I'm just in this sort of circle at this point in time. So have decided to make today the first day of the road to phase 3. Have eaten today. I've gone in heavy with a high protein, low calorie lunch. I added fruit into the diet, and then for tea added vegetables to the heavy protein tea. And then I had a protein pudding, which was a protein pudding. as I was saying to Leanne earlier, Monday is the only day that you can really bulk up. Is that the way? I was saying to her, I was like, I think by the time I'd finished my lunch, I'd had 100 grams of protein in various different ways, and I think I'd had like 6 different types of drinks, and was like, right there, let's see what this does. And my tea was like, yeah, protein, and veg. So we'll see what results come off the back of this. It's just really difficult to be like, I've got to eat, and that's the answer, whilst, also simultaneously believing it's not. I have some children. My current joke, the joke I've been using for a little while now, is all of my children are different. They're individuals, which I support wholeheartedly. I am glad they're all different. I'm glad. Like, no 2 children are the same. I keep saying this, and it's fantastic. However, you try and make a fucking meal. Yes, none of them will eat the same things, so you just have to kind of throw a dart, aim for the middle, and hope that some of them will eat it. My eldest, through various stages of her life, she's been a mixed sleeper, ranging from not sleeping when she's supposed to, when she was tiny little, and so on. She's very much one of those now. If you tell her that she can stay up if she wants to, she will. And if you tell her she can have a lie in, she'll do her best. Middle daughter is in that weird space at the moment where if you told her she could stay up, she would, but also will be stood at the side of your bed at 6:30 in the morning like fresh as a freaking daisy. Which is like, it's aggressive sometimes. Sometimes it's proper like, ugh, the fucking hell do you, what's going on? Kind of situation. Sometimes. My youngest daughter, I have said in the last hour, I honestly believe if she had 18 hours sleep, she would wake up and say she was tired. And has basically always been that way. And my son, I used to have this challenge that when I lay him down in his cot, I used to see if I could get out of the room in under 100 seconds. I used to count to 100 and try and be out of the room. And handful of times, I didn't make it. You could literally put him down and he would go to sleep within about a minute. Not anymore. Honestly, at this point in time, I am wondering how he is upright. I am wondering how he has the energy to do anything. At this moment, I'm like, there was a night where he was still singing and chuntering and all of that from his bedroom at 9:20 at night. Leanne had been into him multiple times. I'd been into him multiple times. We both just gave up in the end and was like, just leave him to it. He'll go to sleep eventually. And then he emerged from his bedroom the next morning at 6:15. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, if I went to bed at 9:20, I'm sure I could get up at 5:45. Yep, not if you're that age. Honestly, it started getting to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm going to have to move out of this fucking house because I am not built for this. Way back in the day, me burning the candle both ends, that was just par for the course. Now, I need 6 hours and a nap, morning and afternoon. I'm like a baby at this point in time. I need a nighttime sleep. I need a nap about 10 o'clock in the morning and a nap at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. On a Wednesday is like my hardest exertion day. Thursday is my hardest exhaustion day. Wednesday afternoon, I am racing to get everyone home from school so that I can have a nap. That's the level I've reached in my life now. And having a child whose number one goal in life is to not sleep at all, I am like, can't do this. I can't do this. There was a point last week where I was like, I think I'm gonna book a hotel. I'm going to stay in a hotel for a couple of days. It's only going to cost me about £500 because, you know, hotels. I mean, what the fuck? What is the deal with hotels? I looked and was like, maybe we could go to the beach, and like a super cool, super novelty thing as a family, we could like get a hotel, like a Travelodge or something, or one of them type of things. So I looked up, family, we'll all go. And I went, that's not even remotely realistic. All I could think was, who are hotels selling rooms to these days? Because presumably nobody can afford them. Anyway, yes, I have a child that doesn't sleep. A lot of conversations about obsessions recently. This is no different. I've become a little bit obsessed about body fat percentages. I had a conversation today with somebody about body fat percentages, but that's a whole other thing. I was saying there are two camps of people when it comes to body fat percentages. One camp will tell you that they are absolute horseshit. Body fat percentage is absolute bullshit. You can have a bodybuilder who's like 6% body fat, but when they do their measurements, they come out morbidly obese. You can have a powerlifter, morbidly obese. A load of like Olympic athletes come in at morbidly obese because of the way body fat percentage is calculated. Another group of people, whether they are or not Instagram influencers, who knows, will tell you that body fat percentage is absolutely where it's at, and I am assured by the people on the YouTubes that 12% is the absolute money. I had a conversation with my eldest daughter where I said I'd been doing my body fat percentage and I'd calculated it, and I had to use some rough numbers because I didn't know. I didn't have a tape measure. So I used some rough numbers and it told me I was massively underweight. I was like, oh, that's a bad sign. And then I got a tape measure and it turned out those numbers being wildly incorrect actually told me that I was obese. Not a beast, no. And I was like, don't know how I feel about that, because honestly, two things. One, I appreciate that when I was morbidly obese, that was a thing, and I kind of just accepted it. That's why I was that way for so long. Number two, For a man who's become a little bit too focused on the possibility of trying to see visible abs, I don't feel that falls into the category of obese. All it turned out was I was too short for my weight. That old chestnut. It's actually not true. My neck isn't thick enough. Turned out. That's not a joke. If my neck was 2 inches thicker, I would not be obese. So now I'm just looking up neck exercises. But yes, I've become a little bit obsessed. To the point where I spent far too long last night calculating what I would need to do to get into... I feel like I saw a video the other day where somebody said that if you can get below 20% body fat, you become one of the 1% of people in the world. No, not that 1%. Let me have a look, because that seems extreme. What percentage of people are below 20%? Wow, you don't want to know. Jesus, those are horrible pre-filled questions. Below 20% body fat. Oh, AI is going to get us the answer, I'm sure. Problem asks for the percentage of people with body fat below. No, you're not. What is a healthy body fat percentage? Average body fat percentage chart. Athletes, 14 to 20%. Fitness enthusiasts, 21 to 24. All right. Is body fat below 20% good? Fat range as 8 to 20%. Okay, so I guess the video I saw was just a random fact that apparently would have absolutely no nothing to back it up. But not gonna lie, I have become a little bit obsessed with body fat percentage, even though 50% of people will tell you that it means absolutely nothing. I also did the BMI one. That wasn't great either. And our scales will do it for me. But honestly, at this point in time, I can't even bring myself to do it. Turns out, not super reliable anyway, so very little point. There may be follow-ups to this further down the line. We'll see. I feel exhausted just thinking about it at this point in time. Like there's a plan. No, not like the phase 3 plan. No. I know what you're thinking. Stop it. That's not very encouraging. That was the word I was looking for. Just trust me. It'll all be right. Maybe. Right. So, TV-wise, I bought something. Shocking. The first series of the 90s animation Spawn. Todd McFarlane's Spawn. Hi, I'm Todd McFarlane. And that's been what I've been watching on the treadmill. I do have a couple of movies, but they're not they're not new, although I do have a new movie. So, maybe I should just watch that rather than watching a animated TV series I've seen about 50 times. But that's not the point. It's something I hold near and dear to me. So that's what I'm watching at the moment. Me and Leanne and I, in the correct vernacular, entered into a phase of we've watched the things we were watching. Now what do we do? Then we entered into a conversation where she was like, well, why aren't we watching Blacklist? I was like, because you didn't want to watch Blacklist anymore. She's like, that's absolutely not true. I said we should watch it. I was like, okay. She's like, why don't we try it and see how we get on? I was like, right, fine. Okay. She's like, maybe we just needed a break. I was like, maybe we did. We've watched 4 episodes. Pretty sure we're still in season 2. There was a double episode that had Ron Perlman in. The episode we watched this evening had a guy in it, and I was like, what have the main... Well, I suppose one of the main characters and that bad guy got in common? They both tried to kill Tony Stark. Because one was the guy that held Tony Stark hostage in the mountains, in the cave in the mountains, and obviously the other one is Ultron. It's fine. It's watchable. It passes the time. All of the things that I don't know if I really should be saying about a TV series. I don't know if it's gripping me. There are aspects where I'm like, I kind of know what's coming. I've seen some bits and bobs on YouTube at various points, and I'm kind of in that camp of, I kind of know what's coming. Leanne doesn't. I do. I'm kind of a bit like, let's get to the bit where this happens, because at least that might be, a little bit more interesting sort of thing. But I don't want to say that because then it'll spoil it. So it's fine. Let me put it like this. I imagine if there was a point where, let's say there was a TV series from the past that me and Leanne had been watching and a new series came out, I have a feeling we'd probably jump ship pretty quick. Because obviously that's basically what we did with the last 2 series we watched. So we'll just see. Bearing in mind that there's 10 series of Blacklist, and we're stumbling our way through series 2. Yeah, I don't know. The movie that I mentioned earlier, that's 50 years old at this point in time, got into a random conversation. Leanne and my eldest came over from climbing on Saturday, talking about Jaws. And I was like, me and Leanne were having a conversation last night where we were talking about Jaws and always on the other. We can't believe it's a PG. Because while we were on Amazon Prime, there was Jaws, 50th anniversary Jaws, 4K, beautiful version of the movie, and it's there, PG. It's like, wow, can't believe it's a PG. I said to my eldest, what film are we watching this evening? She's like, why aren't we watching Jaws? I'm like, I mean, we can if you want. She's like, yeah, absolutely, let's watch Jaws. I was like, fuck it, we're watching Jaws. So that's what we did. Right at the back end, we got through the entire film. Right at the back end, there's a bit. And she turned to me and she said, I can't believe this is a PG. And I went, me neither. So I quickly over to IMDb. IMDb were like, not going to tell you what the rating is. No. I'm like, oh, fuck. This is where it turns out that it's like at least a 15, and I've shown my daughter a film she shouldn't be watching. I was like, fuck. So I went onto Amazon through my phone. Obviously, we're watching on Amazon. I was like, look, it's there. PG. She's like, yeah, absolutely. But, that was a little bit more than PG. I'm like, it was. I know, I'll Google it. Googly. And Google's like, yeah, the BBFC, is that it? Recategorized Jaws. I think it was like the 80s or the 90s. And actually gave it a 12 rating. So as I said to her, well, that means you can still watch it, so it's fine. She was like, yeah, I'm all right. I don't care. I'm like, okay. She was like, no, I was just passing comment that I'm surprised a guy getting eaten by a shark is a PG. I was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I fully agree. She watched it. She went off to bed. Said to her the next day, I was like, how did you find your film? Were you scared? Did you have nightmares? Do you think sharks will get her? She was like, no. I was like, oh, okay then. Must be made of tough stuff, I guess. She did tell me she had absolutely no issues with zombies, and I was like, really? Well, let's see about that, shall we? Right, let's talk some computer game stuff, because there is the computer game funk. Obviously, I've been going through a long series of buying games left, right, and centre, getting all these super discounts. I've had an email today like, here, I have 12% off games. I'm like, I don't know if I can spend 12% off games at this point in time. Mostly because the Steam sale starts in 3 days, and I don't even think I'll be buying anything then. So we're really going to be in for it when we can't find any games to buy. I got into a point where I was playing that Yakuza Like a Dragon Hawaii, whatever the hell it's called, every night throughout last week. And I was like, is this the game that I've settled on? Perfectly enjoyable. I got a pirate ship. I started sailing on my pirate ship. Feels very Black Flag now. The fighting element's cool. I've got like double swords, but you can switch to fists, and one of those games that feels like really stripped down in one way and really complex in another. Like, I got into like all these series of fights, and I was like, I'm running out of health, but I've got no, like, I had nothing to replenish my health. I was like, I need to go cook some meals, but I don't know how and when I do that, because I was in like some sort of boss fight, and very sort of tricky balance. I played a bit Clair Obscur. I played some Sniper 3, the Ghost Warrior one rather than Sniper Elite. That one. But I've been entering into this thing where I've been starting to do this. Oh, it's probably a bit late to put a game on, but it's like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I mean, I've got an hour, but it's probably a bit late. Haven't turned the PlayStation on in a couple of weeks. Don't even get me started on the fucking Xbox. The only thing I do consistently use is the Quest. Speaking of, Into the Radius 2 had an update. They put this thing out that was like, here's a big update for you. We've done this, and this. Just to let you know, we're going to take a break. And there's not going to be any updates until autumn. And I was like, okay. Did the update, tried to play the game, nothing. I was like, every single fucking time this game updates, you can't get into it. It's like they update it and it's broken. I tried for a couple of days. On the second day, I was like, this is stupid now. I've got all this time and nothing to play. So I'll play a game that I bought at release and haven't played yet, which is Zombie Army VR. Zombie Army VR is not the game I thought it was going to be. And that is a me thing, not a the game thing. I completely forgot that Zombie Army as a franchise is a wave shooter. Waves of zombies come, you shoot them until they're all dead, and you move on 5 feet, and then another wave comes, and then you go around a corner, and another wave comes, and it's just that. I completely forgot this and thought we were going to go into some kind of do a thing, go to a place, shoot a zombie, do a thing. Especially because it's sniper version. So I was like, I was thinking it was like a sniper game, but it's not. The weapon I have used the absolute most in that game is the machine gun. I tried to use the sniper rifle as much as I could, but once they pass a certain sort of depth of field, you're into like, well, I can't use the sniper rifle. They're too close. And there's a lot of them. So it was a bit of a shock to go, oh no, we're doing a wave shooter thing. And it's hard. Like, it's really hard. Like, I've died a lot. So I'm like, it was fine, it was enjoyable, it was whatever, but I was a bit thrown by what it was, mostly because I didn't think it was going to be like that. I didn't realise. So, day 3 since the update of Into the Radius, and I'm like, why doesn't this game work? So I did a little googly moogly and found a little post that was like, my game don't work. Somebody was like, have you got any mods installed? And they were like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? And that was my exact reaction when I went and removed the mods from the game and it loaded up fine. That in itself was a problem because without the mods, anything that was already installed to the save was still there. For example, I'd put a mod on that gave you double ammo in all the clips. So all the clips kept all the double ammo, but without the mod there, the ammo count for the clip was like 33 rounds of 66. Or 66 rounds of 33, if that's how it would sort of come across. So I couldn't reload anything until it dropped below the 33 mark. So it was stuff like that. Couldn't carry all of the stuff that I had. Was instantly carrying way too much stuff. I was like, shit. Because I got a mod that allowed me to carry more stuff. My guns are breaking left, right, and centre because I had a mod that stopped my guns from breaking. I had an ammo transfer mod that transferred your ammo really fast. That wasn't a thing anymore. I'm literally like, well, fuck me, this game's unplayable. Even though I'd only been using mods for like 2 or 3 days. It's like, shit, bro. As it was, I played it for like a day or so, and then I went to the website where the mods came from and found that like 2 of the 4 of the ones I was using had been updated to work with the new update, so I put those on. Checked again another day, another one had an update. I'm only missing 1 at this point in time. I might have a little look this evening or tomorrow or something, but did pick up another one to reduce some damage. What I will say is this. I've loaded into a new game. I've started from scratch. I wanted to see what the new update was like. Immediately added all the mods back in for funds. The save file that I use that has mods attached to it loads you into what is essentially a normal difficulty game. So I reduce the difficulty. I reduce a load of different settings. I don't know if there has been, like, part of the update has changed the overall difficulty of the game, or if it's a setting that I haven't found that I've changed previously. But the game's fucking hard. There's a lot of enemies. They are a lot better shot than they used to be. and they do a lot more damage. Now, I have reduced the amount of damage taken to, I think, almost the lowest setting, and they are still kicking the fuck out of me. I've managed to play it to a point where I managed to get some like body armor, but shit, the bed, they were fucking me up. I went and looked at some settings and stuff. I'd seen a video of like how to make it run the best possible way that it could, so I made some of those changes. I don't like the changes I've made because it's like the game's now using tricks to get round settings, and I'm like, I don't like your trick. I heard that they'd use these tricks for the Quest version because obviously the Quest isn't that powerful. But I was like, ugh, just doesn't look or feel quite as nice. So there we go. With all of the mods I've been using recently, it has inspired me to look at a couple of other games that I would like to mod from flat into VR, which look kind of fun. So I keep saying I'm going to give Into the Radius 2 one more playthrough and then put it to one side for a little bit. And that might be the case, knowing that there aren't going to be any more updates until autumn. That might be a reason to go and play some other things. We shall see. Right, there we go. That is the podcast this week, and I will speak to you next time. So there you go. What do you think of that? Another one done, another one gone. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and thanks for being here. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. That is it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
This is a Cookie Cast production.